Okay, on this question, they want us to solve these two equations with two letters. And we're going to use the addition, also called elimination method. So how do we do it? Well, watch this. Watch this not work. Don't write this down. This is wrong, but I want you to see it's instructive. Why can't we just like add them right now? Well, we cannot add them right now because what would happen? Nothing would eliminate. Watch, negative 4x, and this is really 1x, right? When there's no number in front, so it's 1. So 1 minus 4 is negative 3x. And then what happens when I add these two right here? This is 2 minus 1 is plus 1. When I add these two right here, 3 minus 8 is negative 5. That did not work. What do I mean didn't work? Nothing eliminated. It's called the addition and elimination method. So in other words, when you add them, something needs to eliminate. We want to get rid of one of these letters. We can't handle both letters at the same time. We need one of them to drop out, cancel out, eliminate. And that didn't happen when I added right now. So what do I got to do? Well, you've got to mess with them before you add them. You got to mess with them in such a way as to make 2 of the x, let me write it up here, make the x's or y's opposites by multiplying one equation both sides. So that's what we got to do. We got to make, so I could look at these x's, for example, and I could say, I'm going to make those x's opposites. How could I do that? Well, I could take the bottom equation and multiply it by 4. You have to go there, there, and there, both sides, right? Whenever you mess with an equation, you got to do the left side and the right side of the equal sign because the left and the right are equal. So if two things are equal and you do the same thing to both of them, they'll be equal afterwards. So anyway, if you did that, that would make this a positive 4x here, and that's the opposite of minus 4x. And that way, when you added them on the next step, the x's would eliminate, right? Or let me give you another option. Or you could say, well, can't we just do the, can't we just do the bottom equation? Couldn't we make the y's opposites? Yeah, if I made that a minus 2y, then that would be the opposite of plus 2y, and they would eliminate. You could do that. Like I said, you could do the x's or the y's. It doesn't matter. Just get somebody to drop out. Maybe I'll just do that last one. Oops. All right, so I'm just going to go 2 all the way through. So it's going to go boom, boom, boom. So what do I get then? I get 2x minus 2y equals 6. Remember, both sides, you have to multiply all 3. Now the top, no change at all. We're only multiplying the bottom equation, both sides of the bottom equation. And now we can add them, right? Now let's add them up. So 2x minus 4x is minus 2x. These guys eliminate, making 0. That was the plan. And 6 minus 8, negative 2. Look at that. Y eliminated. We got rid of y, which is great. So now we just have minus 2x is minus 2. So now it's easy to solve for x. That's the whole trick here. You want one of the letters to eliminate when you add them. That's why it's called the addition method. It's also called the elimination method.
Mr. Aaron?
Positive 1. Yeah.
What if when you use the addition elimination method, it also
cancels both?
No, it canceled both the y's and on the opposite side of the equal sign.
Oh, well, then that's just a 0.
So that's all right?
Excuse me. Yeah, that's a great question. What if over here, this had been an 8 and a minus 8, you're saying, huh?
Yeah.
Then that would just simply be 0. So in other words, then you would have minus 2x. That's a great question because I know that happens sometimes. Yeah. So if the right side, so on the right side, we're just simply adding or subtracting the numbers. So if they happen to come out to be 0, then they're 0. And now you think, oh yeah, but what do we do now? Well, you know what to do. How do you finish solving for x? just do the same exact thing, meaning divide by -2. And on the next step, x is 0, right? Because 0 divided by anything is 0.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that would just give you the answer of 0 for that x. Great question. All right. Yeah, so if the right side becomes 0, then that just is going to end up meaning that variable x or y or whatever is going to end up equaling 0. Now, once you have one answer, you now take this over here and plug it in, right? To get the other answer, so the other letter. So we have x is 1. Plug that in to either equation. Plug it in either. So I'm going to, it doesn't matter which one. The second one looks, this one right here, looks a little easier to me. You grab it back how it was before you messed with it. You know, before I multiplied by 2. It will actually, you could even do the one where you multiplied by 2. It doesn't really matter. Anything will work, but this will be easiest. I'm just doing what's easiest. I'm going to grab it back when it was a little easier before I messed with it. Okay, and I'm going to plug in now. X is 1 right there. So I get 1 minus y is 3. And then we got to solve for y. You know how to solve for y. Subtract 1 from both sides here. Boom, boom. And we get minus y is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. And last step, when you have a negative, that really means you have a -1. You got to divide both sides by -1. And so that gives us y equals 2 divided by -1 is -2. So y is -2. So our answer is 1 comma -2, right? X comes first, then y. You've got to put parentheses around them with a comma. It'd be right here in this. You click this box, 1 comma -2. There it is. There's the answers. Let me recap. What do we do? We have to make the x's or y's opposites. Either the x's or the y's. Make a plan to make them opposite. Same number, one positive, one negative, by multiplying one of the equations on both sides. So I ended up multiplying by 2 the bottom equation. So that made these y's opposites. So when I added them, they eliminated. Add the x's, add the y's, and then you just solve for that x. If the right side is 0, then when you solve for x or y or whatever you have left, that'll just be 0. No problem. That's just an answer of 0. 0 can be an answer too. And then you plug, once you get your first letter, plug that in anywhere you want, really, and solve for the second letter. There it is.